There are moments in a nation's life when calm seems far away. Today, many Americans feel unsettled. There is worry about safety in our towns, about fairness in the law, and about how we treat one another when lines are drawn. Minnesota has seen days of protests, of federal officers filling city streets, and most painfully, of 2 lives lost during police actions. I wish, before all else, to honor the families who are grieving. No wise republic can ever forget hard human cost. You may turn on the news and see crowds holding signs as the sun falls low, anger and grief mixing in the air. Or you may see long lines of officers in dark jackets, steady and silent, standing watch at dawn. You may ask, is this the course our country must take? Let me promise you this. Not all news is black and white. History has seen such times before, when force meets protest and fear runs against hope. The Republic can be saved, not by anger, not by harshness, but by reason and steady heart. Let us set the table, plain and simple. The Trump administration sent thousands of federal immigration officers to Minnesota. Their charge? To find and remove persons wanted for grave crimes, to enforce the law as written. It was the largest operation of its kind ever seen in that state. 2,000 officers stayed. But now, after new deals with local jails and officials, 700 have been sent home. Some see this as a sign of peace, others fear more shadowy days ahead. Picture a courthouse entrance early in the morning. Officers shake hands with county deputies as the sky grows light, eyes tired from long nights. There is no shouting here, only a hard duty shared. Federal leaders claim success. Some persons wanted for violent acts are now in custody or removed. Laws, they say, have been followed. Yet, among city blocks and on quiet rural roads, shadow and sorrow hang heavy. The deaths of 2 citizens during these actions have stirred anger and calls for answers. Think of a family sitting late in their home, TV casting blue light, voices hushed as news tells of unrest not far from their street. Children ask, are we safe? Not all answers come fast. There are still protests at the gates of government buildings and in city parks. Some march with quiet resolve, others cry out in pain and frustration. At the same time, in towns and counties across Minnesota, local jails have begun new ways. Now they hand over inmates with federal orders to immigration officers, hoping to avoid the need for more federal force. Imagine a sheriff and a city leader talking in the cool of morning on the courthouse steps. Everyone here wants calm, but all feel the risk. Think of federal agents in small groups, standing near rural highways, their presence less sharp than before, watching the sun break over frost-covered fields. This is not the end of federal work in Minnesota. Far from it. 2,000 remain at their posts. No one can say when the work will end. But the drawdown is clear, a lessening of force in one place, for reasons yet to be fully told. Still, facts do not settle every doubt. There is confusion about which counties have agreed to help. No clear timeline for full peace. The federal leaders give few details, some in protest block roads, and try to halt these actions. Federal leaders warn only when protests and obstruction quiet down will more officers leave. It falls on us to ask, what is right and what is wise when passions run so high? America's strength is her unity. The law is our guard, but people's trust is its foundation. Now let us look beneath the headlines. Not every protest is reckless. Many are guided by love of country and hope for improvement. It is the right of free men and women to gather, to speak, to call for justice, but there is danger too. If protest grows too loud or rough, if it blocks lawful action or breeds fresh wounds, then liberty itself weakens. In my day, when order was threatened, I learned one thing again and again. Firmness and restraint must go hand in hand. Not all power flows from the bayonet, nor does safety grow from harsh hands alone. Picture a school gym set aside for a public meeting. Neighbors gather not to fight, but to ask what comes next. Some voices tremble, others rise in hope. Imagine an older man sweeping his porch after a tense night, the flag outside his door catching the morning sun, his sigh carrying both worry and faith. What is the government's duty in this? To protect the law, yes, to act for the public good, but also to remember that every action, every order carried out touches real lives. It also falls to citizens, young and old, to meet each other not as foes, but as neighbors sharing a hard season. Division is easy, healing asks more of us all. Federal, state, and local officials must work together, not from fear, but from respect. If all sides can come to the same table, talk plain, and listen with patience, then peace can grow, and no arm of government need stretch further than is needed. Let me tell you, history has seen this before. There were times in early America when anger boiled up over taxes or laws not liked, or how the land was governed. Sometimes force met force, sometimes good sense prevailed. Those who served under me in war and in peace learned one lesson above all: hold fast to duty, but never forget the people for whom you serve. Think of a young deputy, new to his role, recalling his own family's hopes as he bears the weight of the badge. Or a protester, heart beating strong, holding a sign for his father lost to violence. What binds them both? The hope that America stays true, not just to the letter of the law, but to its spirit. We must not become a country of only winners and losers, or of sides always at arms. America was built for more than that. And so, as I look out across this troubled winter, I see both shadow and promise. No single event or season can darken the light within every American heart that truly loves their country. Still, we must not shrink from the cold facts before us. This is a hard season. Picture a quiet stretch of highway after dusk, a patrol car's blue lights flashing gently, the chill air swirling as a lone officer stands outside, looking across snow-dusted fields. He thinks not of orders alone, but of the people whose safety is his charge, the families huddling behind warmed windows, the children asleep, and the neighbors he may never know by name. In town after town, the news lingers on every tongue. At the school gates, in the grocery checkout, on cracked porches before the morning sun. Some fear what more force may bring. Others demand the law be carried out no matter the cost. Each holds a piece of the truth. In every home the stakes feel high and hopes feel fragile. Think of those who lost loved ones, the pain they bear, their lives changed in an instant. I ask you to remember, each life touched by public action is a candle in the greater lamp of our republic. Their loss is not a footnote, but a warning and a call to all in authority. Never forget, never rush, always weigh your power with great care. Let us return to the circle of the everyday. See the mother packing lunches at dawn, worried, moving quietly so the children wake to calm and not to fear. The nurse waiting for her bus, fatigue in her step, but purpose still bright in her eyes. Though federal orders and city protests fill the headlines, our national fate most often turns on the will and patience of these ordinary Americans. I have said before, America's strength is her unity, that unity is not the absence of argument nor the erasing of all lines. It is the old understanding that while we may quarrel fierce, we must cherish the spirit that binds us. Think of a voter in a church basement, pencil in hand, reading the news spread across a table. He speaks with a neighbor, an old friend, now angered by recent events. Still, they listen. Still, they remember the summer picnics, the flags waved side by side on July 4th. Imagine a police captain sitting at his worn desk as midday light streams in around the badge on his wall. He feels keenly the scrutiny of his choices, the eyes upon him from city, state, and nation. The line between duty and community never felt so thin. Yet he turns to his officers, bidding them, contain but do not provoke, protect but do not forget the hearts of those we serve. The Republic, I say again, can be saved, not by force alone, but by consent, by the slow, sometimes stumbling way a free people finds between too much order and too little care. Now, some will say the law is the law, and all else must bow before it. Others will say justice lives not in statutes, but in the cry of those wronged. Both are half right, and both miss the deeper point. Law without justice is cold and brittle, justice without order, wild and fleeting. The wisdom of our system is not that extremes take the field, but that experience, patience, and honest talk shape every answer. Let us set our gaze on where change begins. Picture a family, grandparents, parents, children, gathered around a worn table on a Sunday afternoon. They debate. Some speak strong for reforms, others for law and order, but each voice matters. The youngest, silent, listens most intently of all. These quiet witnesses learn how a nation lasting through trouble must always make room for both caution and hope. It is easy in such heated days to fall into camps, to see foes where there are only frustrated fellow citizens, to harden our tone, to demand all or nothing. The great task before us is softer, but braver. It is to hold both authority and protest accountable, to expect restraint not only from those with badges, but from those who carry banners as well. Now I urge every official, be clear. Speak plainly to the people about what will come next, about what is possible and what is merely promise. The truest strength is that which is tested in the open, not behind closed doors or in echo chambers. Picture a county judge at the end of a long night, robe draped over his chair, reviewing each case with diligence. He reads statements, weighs facts, and above all considers, what will most protect order and still honor the rights of those I may never meet? These are not easy questions, but a republic, our republic, relies on such honest hearts, each trying to do right by the whole, and not just by one side. We must ask, what does it take to truly maintain both freedom and peace? It is neither to bow to every demand, nor to silence every cry. Our communities must listen, must sometimes forgive, and must never surrender to despair. Think of the small-town shopkeeper sweeping out in front of his store after a tense week. He pauses, flag overhead, as sunrise breaks cloudy and cold, and wonders, will today be the day things begin to mend? Or will anger return? He will open his shop regardless, for such is the heart of this country. We go onward, not in denial, but in hope. Justice, I remind you, is a labor shared between many, never finished, always begun anew. When law and community work arm in arm, peace does not come quickly, but it does take root. Let us not forget that our highest purpose as citizens is not to win every dispute, but to keep the field open for honest difference, always returning to that shared core, a desire for our children to inherit something better than what we were given. So, whenever you see a protest underway, recall this is a right purchased by generations before us. But with that right comes duty, a duty to stay peaceful, a duty to know when words can do more than fists. And whenever you see an officer on patrol, remember, he or she is neighbor first, officer second. Their power is on loan from the people, only as strong as our trust. Now picture for a moment a town hall set in a school gym, the air sharp with memory of past rifts. This time leaders, sheriff, protesters, city elders, business owners sit in a rough circle, voice after voice speaking low but clear. They do not solve every grievance. They do not win quick applause. But by night's end, each has listened fairly. Agreements are few, but respect slowly, quietly grows again. It is here, in America's ordinary rooms and lives, that policy meets reality, and where the Republic either stands together or frays apart. For every division in law and order, there is a story of unity waiting to be told. A fireman patching a neighbor's fence, a teenager from the protest line volunteering at the soup kitchen, a pastor counseling patients, a teacher urging study of both sides. Let these not be exceptions, but the new rule. As I look back on the storms of my own time, I am sure when we forgot the people and fought only for power, we lost. But when we paused, humbled ourselves, and remembered the purpose, always the people, we found the strength to renew. So tonight, as you turn off your lamp, as you step onto your porch, as you hush your children for sleep, please know your calm words, your honest doubts voiced in peace, your willingness to hear before you judge are the pillars of our enduring experiment. The Republic is never one decision. It is thousands made in concert over time. Let us not give the last word to division, nor the loudest voice to anger. The Republic can be saved. This is not just old hope, but a living truth. If we each choose, again and again, not rage but citizenship, not contempt but conscience, not fear but a simple readiness to listen and build and forgive. Picture our country tomorrow morning, a flag on every porch, the streets still quiet, the world waking a little unsure. But in that light, the sound of doors opening, neighbors calling out a gentle greeting, children laughing as they set out for school. All the while, the old wheels of the Republic turning beneath their feet, sometimes creaking, but never breaking. We have the history. We have the means. Now all depends on our will. What story will we hand forward? One of bruised hopes or of renewal born of patience and neighborly virtue? So humbly, as citizen to citizen, I leave you with this. What act of reason or kindness might restore a bit of trust where you live this very night? And if you choose that act, what humble legacy, what new strength might spring from it for your country tomorrow? For the answer lies not in Washington's words, but in yours, and in the quiet courage of our everyday. The Republic can be saved. Let us prove it so, together.